Hello, guys. I'm not going to play an intro clip this time. Hope you're all well. And we're back for another episode of Devil's Digest. We've not got Kine again today. We've just decided to have him off the show for a little bit as things just got a little bit toxic. There's no hard feelings there and no hate directed towards Kine, nor myself, nor Gavin, obviously. And I'll just start with saying, how are you, Gavin?
I'm good, thank you. It's been a good.
Good. I'll let you guys know how I am. Although I've got a big smile on my face. I've had a very chaotic day. A day where I've had a few arguments with a few people. And yeah, that's that. And we'll try and have a good show to end that to end the day off, I guess. So we've got the topics. Pardon?
Sometimes it's good to vent.
Indeed it is. I will actually let people know. Actually, I know there's two or three people in here currently. I'm not on Twitter. I'm like logging in and out and things like that, but I'm trying to sort of keep off at the moment. I received quite a few messages of hate for absolutely no reason. I don't know whether someone directed that or whether it's just hatred. I received a few messages of hate, so I'd rather stay off it. For me, and it isn't just the hatred messages. Social media, in my opinion, and I know this, I'm streaming on a social media platform right now. Social media in terms of Twitter, Instagram, maybe not Instagram as much for me, but it can cause more issues than it can give you good. In the sense of, I'm not going to lie to people, it's caused issues with me being insecure about the way I look and things like that. And I realised that on Saturday night when I was out. Speaking of Saturday night, before we get into anything else, I've got this to show. If it's going to show, if the light's going to show, there's me with Gary Pallister, Clayton Blackmore, and Norman Whiteside. And I said to them, I said personally to them, we need you back to bring us to our glory days. And they said, oh, I don't know, son. There's a few wouldn't want to play with. Look at Wan-Bissaka, for example. Obviously joking.
Oh.
There's no hatred there. They were all joking. And before we get
auction it.
No, not my picture with them. I've got a sign top as well. Also, there's a story I've got to tell here. Well, not got to, but I'm going to. Pallister, obviously, was at Middlesbrough. He'd just been relegated and he wanted out. So his agent got on the phone and, well, he got himself an agent. He didn't have an agent and he nearly signed for Liverpool. It's a long story short. I'm putting it right now. He nearly signed for Liverpool. If Martin Edwards was in the country at the time, he would have signed for Liverpool. However, he wasn't. So Fergie's got him in his office and said, we want to sign you for, I think, 1.5 million, and we'll give you exactly what Robbo's on. Now, bear in mind, he said, Fergie said, we'll give you exactly what Robbo's on. And it took Pallister up until 3 years ago to find out that was a lie. Robbo was on almost double what he was on. That was just a lie. So he kept going on about it. He kept saying, oh, I got ripped off. Obviously joking. And another interesting story. Norman Whiteside was on £16 per week playing for Man United. Obviously, those days are long gone.
With Pallister, it's Fergienomics.
Indeed it is. Cristiano Ronaldo, sweet. Gavin, nice shave, Morecambe fan says. Why'd you leave Twitter? I just feel social media just causes so many issues for me right now. I've got another account where I'm keeping up to date with news, and only a few people follow it.
Twitter,
yeah. I've got another account where but I was first of all, I was spending too much time on it. Second of all, it just causes so many issues in general. Just for me personally, and third of all, I just want to keep off it for a little bit. I've been saying it all season. This season, with especially as a United fan, it's been quite relentless with news and things like that. So this was probably coming up for me anyway. Something like this. Why is Kine not on? It just got a little bit toxic, and I've just received a message saying, why is Kine not on as well? Keen, why with some sexy young random guy? You get called sexy in the chat here. Pallister, this ratio, absolutely not.
having a shave takes years off you.
Indeed. Much love, Thomas. Appreciate you for watching. Right, so we've got manager news. Bruno new contract. Marcus, Wayne Rooney speaking on Marcus Rashford, and possibly Luke Shaw contracts, and obviously we'll go into some other quotes as well whilst we're speaking about it. There's quite a lot of manager news, and there has been today. This is, let me just turn my brightness up on my phone. This is from 6 days ago now. Erik Ten Hag's compensation fee is not an issue for Manchester United. United want to complete the deal as soon as possible. Ten Hag is preparing for United already. Talks are progressing between Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's agents. United's board know that there's a huge chance that Ten Hag will leave Ajax. There is a growing momentum behind Erik Ten Hag to Manchester United. If Ten Hag is offered the job, he will accept it. That's from Sam Pilger, both of them. Then the news came around half an hour later, saying Erik Ten Hag has been interviewed for the Manchester United job. He spoke to United on Monday. This was last week. Obviously, today's Monday. Sources say a number of candidates are being interviewed, which is fair enough. I want people to bear that in mind. That is fair enough. If I had a business, I'd want people, and I want the manager for the business, not just a football club, any business. I'd want loads of people to be interviewed to find out which is the best one. Mauricio Pochettino's odds of becoming Manchester United's manager have drifted in recent days, and there is a growing suspicion in Pochettino's camp that the job is now Erik Ten Hag's to lose. This is from Chris Wheeler, and most importantly, it's from Sammy Mockbell, who is very, very reliable. Then we got Fabrizio Romano saying Manchester United have interviewed Erik Ten Hag, confirmed as per Chris Wheeler and Sammy Mockbell. Meeting took place this week. Manchester United are happy with his English level, but final decision will involve many factors. The board will interview other candidates too. Right, that's the interview bit out of the way. That's the initial interview bit out of the way before we go on to the aftermath of the interview. Now, last week I was really excited, and then I had half an hour today where news came out about Pochettino, which we will get into, where it's like, I'm not so excited. Now I'm really excited again. I've said this several times, haven't I? I think it's going to go back and forth. Now, who do you think is the most likely, and what is your thoughts on us interviewing all different candidates?
Well, being a United fan is like a roller coaster ride of emotions. I mean, second guessing the board is very difficult because you can see how one sort of demographic are wanting to go with regards to the betting officers, the media, the fans. That side of things seems to be more focused on Ten Hag, whereas what we're hearing is the players, the boardroom, some staff, they're sort of leaning more towards how it was under Woodward, where it was very much about Poch. And that's even just going, since he left Spurs, because he's been a sort of admirer by the board and Woodward for that length of time. So at the moment, for us fans, there's this tug of war of emotions where we're literally waiting on Fabrizio Romano interviews, all the credible journalists giving us any tidbit of news just so that we can hang on it to say, that's all right then. And every day it seems like it's swaying one way and the other. I tell you, there's some joke I can say there about swinging one way and the other, but it's just, I personally think that eventually they will go for Ten Hag, but the longer that they take, the more chance he's going to be snapped up by someone else. And that's my worry. Or he will say, well, you're obviously not serious about me, so I'll look elsewhere. And that to me is my worry. Yes, okay, fair enough. You do have to interview other candidates. But how many candidates can there be? There should only really be two. Because you look at Luis Enrique, he ain't going to be available. Not really.
I don't really understand the talk over the past 12 hours about Enrique. I don't really get it.
all the other ones which were sort of on the list were, yes, fair enough, you want to interview them, but are they really credible? Are they really the route that you want to go down? Whereas I would say if the fans had a choice of who their top two would be, it would be Poch and Ten Hag, mostly of gettable managers, you know. So I know that the board, I know that the Glazers, they're very social media driven. They focus on social media quite a lot. So I'm really, really hoping that they're being very analytical about the way that the fan
Yeah,
base is talking and how one-sided the conversation is. And
yeah.
I really hope they do the right thing and they do a footballing
But
thing.
this isn't to say Pochettino is just awful. He's not
Oh,
an awful manager.
obviously.
It's purely to say we would just prefer Eric Ten Hag, and I suppose it's a difficult one. It must be a difficult one. And I'm not talking about for the Glazers, but for the actual football people inside the club, the actual Darren, I know we all don't really know what Darren Fletcher's job is, but Darren Fletcher, for example, might feel, and to a certain extent, Ralph Rangnick to a huge extent, it must be very difficult for them to sort of try and work with the Glazers when they're like, but the players want Poch, but you want Ten Hag, and it's like, but we want Poch. It's lower, it's low risk, etc. Because obviously he's got top four pretty much every year he was at Spurs, so it must be difficult. We'll go back into the news though. Eric Ten Hag's talks with Manchester United have been described as positive. The club have been impressed with his vision and philosophy. Good relations with Ajax facilitated. Apologies for that. Facilitated talks to happen with Ten Hag. That's from Sky Sports Chef. Now, news has changed from what I'm about to read out, as far as I'm aware, and this is just because of the news today. This was 24, so 4 days ago. So Zishan tweeted on the 10th of March, Darren Fletcher has contacted Mauricio Pochettino, and then he tweeted on the 24th. This is when Pochettino was contacted by United. Nothing since. Yes, Real Madrid want Pochettino for next season. Now, before we get into that, I'll just go through the comments. Great channel, lad, was on Stretford Paddock the other week. I appreciate that, Craig. I appreciate that. It was a great opportunity to be on Stretford Paddock, and thank you to the guys over there, Jay Motti, Joel Smith, the lad that was with me on the watch along. I can't remember his name. Thank you to all of them, and thank you to the editors as well. Hold on, I'm not giving anyone else mod because it just ends in arguments. I apologize. It just ends in arguments. So I'm going to try and do the positive thing, and they're just arguing amongst themselves in the group chat. Right. So now it's gone positive. We don't know. We haven't had any news of the interview today going positive. Does that to you indicate that the interview has gone more positive than the interview today, which we will get into?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Like I said, we're hanging on any shred of information that we're getting. I love the fact that we're getting the reports about how positive they were with regards to Ten Hag's interview, because it could have quite easily been fed out there, keep their cards close to their chest. But then, if they were just focused on Poch and only Poch, and yes, they were interviewing Eric, but not really with a view to having him, just doing it because they got to. I don't think it would be out there just how happy they were with what they saw, with what they heard, with how well he spoke, with how he envisaged his managerial job at United and the things that he's got planned and the ideas. So for them to be positive, I think that's swayed it. I think in the run up to the interview process, it was all about Poch, but they knew that the fan base and the fact that Eric Ten Hag was available in the summer at the right time, they had to do something. They couldn't not be active in looking at him. They couldn't just go for Poch and say, la, la, la. So I think they were doing it, but doing it because they felt they had to. However, when they've done it, I think they were surprised by what they heard and what they saw. And now they're sort of looking at it again, going, oh, maybe our original decision wasn't necessarily a good decision. So if PSG were to sack him, I think then maybe they might go for Poch now.
Yeah.
If PSG want money out of this situation and they say, well, we ain't sacking him until the summer, then I think we'll go down the Ten Hag route because we can't wait that long.
Yeah.
With regards to Real Madrid, it could all work out quite nice that one goes to one goes to another, and then we get Ten Hag, and it all just sort of works out organically where every single club is happy with the acquisition they've got. But we're sort of relying on our board to be competent. And although, look, I mean, they're not incompetent. They make a lot of money. They spend it badly, yes, but they are where they are because they're good at business. I know they don't always do good.
They good at business though? Like genuinely, like I'm not just. I'm sure you've heard this before on all the channels, and yeah,
but they're good at business.
yeah.
The money that they're spending, it must be. I mean, for a fan, it's crazy. We're sat there going, "What? You're spending how much on who?" But to them, it's like, yeah, but
genuinely though, they want to overturn profit and they want dividends, regardless of what we think about that. They want dividends. However,
to them,
sorry, let me just interrupt you. Can I just interrupt you 1 second? I do apologize. Right, so they want dividends. Undoubtedly, they want dividends, and regardless of what we think, that is what they want. So, if you want to maximize your dividends, be the best fucking football team in the world, and that will bring you the money. That will bring you the money. Be the best club, be the best team, be the best at commercial, but be the best team as well. If you've got all of that in one, whereas we've only had, for 10 years nearly now, we've only had one of that in one, if that makes sense. We could have had two. If we've got both of them, great football team and great football club commercially as well, we will be very powerful. And we proved it with how we signed Ronaldo. I've never seen, I don't think I've ever seen us under the Glazers make a signing the way we did with Ronaldo, how quickly we did it. I understand they had to do it quickly. But I've never seen that before with the Glazers, especially for a long, long time. So be the best. I don't understand what genuinely, obviously, this is a little bit off topic from managers, but what do you think their sort of opinion is on it? Because surely they've had a thought where it's like, if we're the best football team in the world, we're going to overturn even more profit and then even more dividends, which I don't want them to get more dividends, but I want to be a great football team, if that makes sense.
We as football fans, we see that. We know that if you want the most money, you earn the most by winning things, right?
Yeah.
They're not interested in that side of things. They're interested in making the most money whilst not spending as much of their own money as possible. So when it comes to getting the best for them as a business, they will look at the likes of the marketing, social interaction, the brands, all of the different things that come with it. So, for instance, the Ronaldos, that in itself straight away pays for itself because of the brand that comes with it.
Yeah.
They will get into the Champions League. They will get themselves where they will spend money, not necessarily good money, but they'll spend it. We go out of the Champions League. We go into the Europa League. They come to the summer. They will spend. They will get us back into the Champions League. Once we're in Champions League, yes, they'll spend money, but again, not great. It's all about for them balancing those books so that the balance is more in their favour than it is to the club, to the footballing side of things. They want to earn as much money while spending as little money.
Yeah.
And I say as little money, they're still spending a good chunk
They're not
of change.
spending their money though. They're spending Manchester United's money.
Manchester United. Yeah, it's the revenue of Manchester United. They don't want to. So if we wanted now, for instance, this summer, new manager, fresh start, total reset, we need to offload about 9 players and get 5 or 6 players in, varying abilities. We need a couple of marquees and a few youngsters in various positions throughout the team. We need to basically restructure the squad. We need to restructure everything from the ground up with regards to every bit of the club.
Yep.
If we had an owner who was about winning, who was about being the best and getting more money out of that, then we'd have been doing that for the last 10 years. We haven't done that. And the reason is they're not about more money because of winning. They're on about more money, but how much have we got to spend of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And they spend it completely wrong as well. And it
yeah,
isn't just about players. It isn't, because we've heard this so many times, and I don't know whether, obviously I have no proof of this or anything like that, but and I'm not trying to be negative here, but
no,
if you actually look at how
realistic.
the players play, yeah, exactly. If you look at how the players play, to me it says something, that there's something wrong with the training facilities or in training. There's something there that's wrong. And I had the conversation with someone else about this. I think it was last week, and this person was saying it seems that in comparison to Chelsea, well, I'm not going to use Chelsea as an example. I'm not even going to use City as an example. In comparison to the Scousers, in comparison to Manchester United of old, especially Manchester United, because we are pioneers. We're pioneers of basically everything in football. We've got second-rate training facilities. We've got a second-rate squad. We've had a second-rate manager. We've had a second-rate this, second-rate players, second-rate signings, and it's all second-rate.
No disrespect to Michael Carrick and to
Oh
Kieran.
no, I love them all. You know that I do.
No, but
Yeah,
as a club of Manchester United size, should we not be going out there to get the best coaches, the best football, the goalkeeping coach, the
yeah,
busy
exactly. Yeah,
training session, training ground.
because the defense,
Need,
I can show a picture of the defense. I think I've shown it before on stream, and I'm going to show it again because I'm going to make a very good point here. Let me just scroll the way down. Just give me a
whilst
second.
doing that, the other thing I was going to say is with regards to we've got people employed at the club. We had in Woodward who are businessmen or women, but business people rather than football people.
Yeah.
They are in the job as a business model too.
Ed Woodward was a banker. He was
Yeah, exactly.
what bank was it he worked for? It was the same bank that funded the Super League, wasn't it? I can't remember what it's called.
Richard Arnold was mates with him or something. I don't know.
At university, I think it was.
So they are in it because they are basically, yes, you can spend our club's money, but we want our money out of it. So I want you to spend this club's money, but I want you to spend it in a way that we, at the end of each year, get our dividends and we can sit pretty in America.
Oh yeah, hundreds, like 100 million every year, isn't it? It's like 80 to 100.
If we did what Newcastle did once the new owners came in and got people right at the top all the way down, who were going to restructure the game, the stadium, the back room, the boardroom, everything. Same way that City did when they got new owners. Everything, you know, make it a football club.
Yeah,
Make it everything from the top to bottom is about the players on the pitch being and achieving the best that they can be to get to the pinnacle of whichever competition they're in.
yeah, I agree. Let me
And
just show this screenshot as well. Now, I'm sort of talking. This is in the football game, obviously, but I'm talking about like something the way the club is being run and a coach here and the coaches. Now just forget about moaning at Maguire, forget about moaning at Shaw, Delo, whoever you want to moan about, forget about that. That screenshot there is disgusting, and that's how it's been all season. That defensive structure is disgusting, and it's so weird. I've never seen a defend like it. However, towards the end of Ollie's reign, I was thinking, is it Solskjaer and his coaching, or is it the other coaches? What is it? Why do we defend like that? Because I remember people can go back and watch streams that I've said for months we defend so weirdly, but I feel like it's the coaches. We've got second-rate coaches, whoever the defensive coaches are. No matter who it is, we've got second-rate coach and second-rate facilities in order to teach to coach. We have, and it's quite well known. We have. Someone says they're jealous of Barcelona. Now I've seen a few people say this. However, I wouldn't say they're a well-run club. They're in 2 billion plus debt. They took a loan out for $1 billion last month or the month before. I remember mentioning it on a stream. I'm not jealous of the way Barcelona are run personally. I'm jealous of the way Arsenal are run currently, and that's quite disgusting to say they are the benchmark.
Yeah.
I am, and I'm trying to vent here and get everything out as well as talk about the news. So if it's conveying like that, I do apologise. We will get back into the news in a minute, though. I just need to get that back up. I do apologise, guys. Right, so
there is a lack of discipline, though, in that squad with
no doubt, yeah,
positional discipline or mentality. You know, you see it right.
It's just having a moan about Rashford just before I went live. Yet again, having another moan about him. And I love Rashford. People know I love Rashford, but I can't help but moan about him right now. But we have the most expensive centre back, most paid left back in the Premier League, 50 million right back, and a 28-year-old Varane. I wouldn't say Varane's a bad signing, actually. We don't spend well at all, and we haven't for a long while. Indeed, you are right there. Some owners are money hungry, but they earn money through putting money into the club to win things. Glazers don't do that. Indeed, you're right.
We do get a lot other fans of other clubs basically. Oh well, your owners have spent 2 billion, and it's
just not that simple though.
They've spent it, you know.
Also, we could have spent double if we were in 500 million debt. But the club is like crippled with debt. Yeah, they need to sort it out. Otherwise, I might just rob a bank and get 4 billion myself to buy United. I remember that screenshot. I mentioned it to you when everyone was blaming Harry Maguire, and I told you how poor our defensive structure is. I remember there's something to do with the coaching, in my opinion. It can't be, and I'm not blaming Ralph. Don't like. I'm not blaming managers. It's the facilities.
Yeah, I mean, there's the coaches that we're aware of that Ralph has brought in. There's only a couple.
Yeah.
So the legacy of the coaches are still at the club. We just don't know their names. They're the no names who work with the teams, with the drills, with they'll get given a list of drills that they've got to do or workouts they've got to do, and then it's up to the lower level coaches to instigate those things and say, right, delegate or whatever. I don't think we see enough change in the back room side of to impact on the fans. The players. This is why I'm sort of hopeful that if Ten Hag comes in or Poch or whoever, they are allowed to bring in their own coaching setup.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree with you. Even the Aaron Wan-Bissaka back post goal conceded, it happened almost every game. I remember it happening in Manchester Derby at home, and I think that at that point on the Premier League game week review, that's when I said, "What is wrong with our defensive structure? I don't understand." Ramsdale has 5 relegations in 7 seasons. Can't come in decided violence again. Um, as for Barcelona, we will eventually do what they've done. It'll take longer. I wouldn't be jealous, just patient. Chesterfield went from 5th in League One to 24th in League Two after getting Ramsdale. That is mad, actually. Just saying, United are not buying for the future. They buy for shirt sales, etc. Buying Kane. It's for shirt sales, not trying to win. It's very weird the way the Glazers actually operate the club, because I was speaking to my uncle about this a few days ago, and I was saying I don't understand why they actually own the club when or who. We were talking about new owners, and if we were to get a new owner, and I was saying who would want to buy a business? Just forget about the club for 1 minute. Just a business that costs $4 billion or pounds. It operates in the New York Stock Exchange, so it would be dollars. Costs $4 billion and only makes 350 million per year. Who would actually buy that? Because I wouldn't. I like, obviously as a fan I would, but if it's just a business, if it's Sky, for example, I'm not going to buy that. Never. So it's very weird the way they operate, the way business is. But I guess they've got Man United for a 30, 40, 50 year long project, haven't they? In their heads to sort of make it. They're not looking for a quick buck. They're looking for a huge sort of investment process. I guess that's what it is. We will get back into the manager news in a second.
About the 2 seconds, back in a minute.
All right. Even the new contracts, Kian. We don't have a new manager, and we want to give new contracts out. Bruno, I understand, but Rashford, Shaw, and De Gea are expected to get new contracts. Oh yeah, forgot about De Gea. Remember Leipzig 3-2, the first goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka back pop. I remember that. Yeah, I remember watching it on TV. I was eating at the time. I remember what I was eating as well, because it annoyed me, that game. And then I thought we were going to come back into it. 1920 youth courage success. 2021 with By Cavani, who was 33 years old. The board don't have a plan. Indeed, they don't. We will get back into the news in a minute, though. I'll just let you guys know whilst I'm waiting for Gavin what days I'm streaming this week. So I'll be streaming tomorrow 5 p.m. UK time with Thomas, and I'll be streaming tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. UK time, Portugal versus North Macedonia playoff final. I'll be streaming on Friday, April 1st, at 4:40 p.m. UK time, World Cup draw live reaction. So I'm looking forward to that. Gavin's not packed. He's just said he's going to be 2 minutes. I've not removed him. Kine, you're only not in here because you were being toxic. Portugal tomorrow. Yeah, we've got mini debates as well, so we're going to be debating about all sorts. There's going to be an interesting debate about whether all Premier League games should be televised or not. I think I've touched on it before briefly, but quite an interesting debate on that. Yeah, I'm supporting the underdog. I'm not ashamed to say that. People absolutely roasted me on Twitter, and there's another reason I came off. I got roasted for supporting my own country over a bloody player. I'm absolutely supporting North Macedonia. I don't care, but I'll be glad if I don't mind if Portugal win. The game don't really matter to me, but yeah, the 3 p.m. games, indeed. I think there's arguments to be made that they shouldn't know, and I think like for example, Kine, who goes to the Salford City matches, could argue against that, because otherwise it won't encourage people to not go to them matches, if that makes sense, and things like that. I'll just wait for Gavin to come back in. He said every 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm the same. Absolutely, I want England to win more than anything, anything at all. I'll be that if England win, I'll be drinking excessive amounts of alcohol if England win the World Cup, honestly. Or even if we get to the final, and I don't drink, so yeah, we'll just wait for Gavin to come back in. He said it'll be 2 minutes. So I need a thumbnail. If you're still in here, Chinook, I think I saw him in the chat. Yeah, he said surprise ratio. If you're still in here, can you please make me a thumbnail for Portugal versus North Macedonia? That would be ideal. Like the reason we want Portugal to win is Ronaldo. Is that a good enough reason to not want the underdogs to win? I don't think so. I agree. I don't really see what people's point is. Oh, it's his last World Cup. I don't care. It's nothing to do with me. I love Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? I bloody love him. I've got a poster of him there, which I still need to get a tape measure for. I've always loved Ronaldo. I've grown up idolizing Ronaldo, but to say that I want Portugal to win and give England a harder route or whatever. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just because it's his last World Cup. No way. Not at all. I stand by that. I don't care. Like if they win tomorrow, I'll say fair enough. I hope he does well, but I still hope England win it. But absolutely don't hope that Portugal win it over England. No way. I'd rather England get an easier route and win it. Of course. That's a nice little rant for me, that, because I needed to rant about that because people were hating on me for that. It seemed like people were choosing to hate for no reason, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll go on to the. I'm going to this event as well. Let me see if I can share screen. Manchester United treble. I'm not sure if I can. Here we go. I'm going to this event too, as well as the one that I went, to on Saturday night, at Old Trafford / Hotel Football. It is Manchester, I think. Is it the one at Manchester? Yeah, it's the one at Manchester. I'm going to this event. So Stam, Irwin, York, and Cole. They're confirmed. Stam, Irwin, York, and Cole. I'm going to this event, so we'll get pictures of them with them. I'm hoping to make it my profile picture as well. Shame on you for saying Macedonia will be easier. Pro really going to the extremes with the Poch hate. What do you mean with the Poch hate? I've got nothing against Poch. I've got absolutely nothing against Poch, like, at all. I just prefer Eric Ten Hag. I don't have anything against Poch at all. I don't know if people in general. Yeah. I tweeted. You can go back on my tweets. I tweeted, I'm dreading the inevitable overreaction when Pochettino gets interviewed, and it's just so predictable. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, why are you overreacting? It's so. I'm so glad I'm off that app, man. Honestly, I'm so glad. It's awful. It's a cesspit for hate, and hatred on people and anything to hate. People choose to hate, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, indeed. I didn't get the platinum tickets for that one. I got the gold tickets. I didn't get the platinum ones. As they costed £150, the platinum ones. I wanted to get tickets to go to the World Cup, but I couldn't because I can't afford it, which is fair enough. But yeah, people genuinely think Poch is a scrub when it just isn't true. So I don't understand where this has come from, though. Like, where has this come from? I'll never understand. Are you all right?
Yeah, all good.
That's good. Right, we're back into the news. So this is last night at 20 to 9. Manchester United have spoken to 3 different managers, Andy Mitten, and you know I respect Mitten more than most. Now, hold on. Maurizio Pochettino was recently interviewed by Manchester United. This was 5 hours ago now. Hold on, let me move that over there. According to the United board, according to sources close to the United board, United also indicated to him that they do not intend to rush the choice of their future coach. Now, that's confused me because 5 minutes later after that, and I'm speaking to someone else about this, why such conflicting stories by there's one reliable journalist in there and there's one all right journalist. I don't believe he would just make this up, though, because otherwise they just regurgitate what's already been said. Samuel Luckhurst has said on the MEM podcast, he said, I would be surprised if Ten Hag wasn't the next Manchester United coach. Dutchman is the club's favourite choice. Ten Hag is the popular choice among the fans and the sport people in the club. And then we got 2 hours later, and this was at 1 minute past 5 this evening. Eric Ten Hag wants an answer from Manchester United as soon as possible from Fabrizio Romano. Now, do you think we're just going to go? I'm going to give my opinion first. if Pochettino, and I've thought this for a few weeks now, if Pochettino does not get sacked by PSG by the end of April, I think it's going to be Ten Hag. What's your opinion? What do you think?
That's pretty much the same as I'm
Yeah,
thinking. I do think that you're not holding out to see what PSG do. It's just, I don't know. It's risky because are we going to be basically setting up a bad relationship between us and Ten Hag straight off the bat if we do eventually get him? Because A, we kept him waiting, and B, it's clear that we kept him waiting because we were waiting to see what happened with the other manager. If you want him, go get him. He's there
yeah,
to be got. I don't know if this cat and mouse game with Pochettino is going to be good because it could come down to it where they don't sack Poch, but by the time the board decide to do something about it, Ten Hag goes, well, sorry, but I ain't coming.
yeah. I can understand that. We'll get into the comments. People genuinely think Pochettino could win that. Just ain't true at all. Indeed, he's one of our own. He's one of our own. Harry Kane. People who say people say who would want to become Manchester United manager with how crap they are. Well, it's probably the most exciting job for a manager. Imagine getting Man United back to the top instant. Imagine. Indeed, and
Yeah,
they're the biggest club in the world. If like, I'm just going to give an example. It's not all about Instagram followers, but if I sign for Man United now and United announce it at 8 p.m., so in 13 minutes, and then I go on my phone and check my followers at 12 at midnight, so 2 hours after, it'll have doubled instantly. Instantly, it'll have doubled. That's how big United is. It's massive, and it's not. I know it seems, it is pretty awful for us, very awful actually. But to offer a manager and a player that chance to play for Man United when the club is just drenched in amazing history and just it's just drenched in just so much. The club in general is a beautiful club in the sense of how it was founded and how it's been built, and obviously the disaster that happened, and then it was built up from there again. And things like that. Obviously now it looks rotten. However, if you're looking at, if you're Eric Ten Hag, you're probably gonna accept, aren't you? To try and get us back to the top. But
it's the same. Attracting players. Everybody was like, "Oh well, Ollie can't attract the big name players," and then we got Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo.
yeah,
Players, managers, they want to come because they want to be the players that bring us back, the manager that bring us back to the glory days. I want to. There's an arrogance when it comes to being a sports professional, whether it's management or playing. You are the best. You see
yeah,
yourself as the best because you've got to have that mentality to be.
yeah. It's got to also be almost be. And someone made this quote who has been ridiculed over the past 12 hours. In Will Smith, he made this quote: "You've got to almost have a delusional successful people in the sense of in whatever industry they're in. Have almost got to have a delusional quality about them." Where he gave an example of where he said, I genuinely believe I could be president if I wanted to. You've got to believe there's something different in what the last 50 million years of history have taught us. And it's almost that delusional quality inside people. Ronaldo is a massive example. He didn't have a great upbringing at all, and that's not due to any fault of his own nor his family's. Obviously his father struggled with addiction and things like that, and he got expelled from school, and it's belief versus odds. He believed it, and he probably told his friends, I'm going to become the best footballer of all time, and his friends probably said, no way, you're mental. Do you know what I mean? It's that delusional quality you've got to have. Eric Ten Hag hopefully has that delusional quality where it's like, I can take Man United back to the top, and that is what's going to get people there. Sir Alex was the best at it, and he did it time and time again for us.
You could say, I mean, you look at the likes of Van Gaal, been there, done it. You look at Mourinho and his sort of personality when it comes to that sort of thing. that everybody remembers.
I remember that. I was in Benidorm the night that happened.
You could say with Ollie, he was probably too nice.
Yeah.
In a cutthroat business of be the best now, and always be the best, or else get out. Ollie was probably a bit more, hello, we're all unequal, we're all equal, we're all friends, we're all mates. Let's just have. I'm not saying that was.
It did help. Like, it did help.
You know what I mean? It's that we're not that. The persona he gives off is not one of a, I don't know, an elite sportsman.
No, yeah.
Like you, in the mold of a manager that you would expect, that they're driven, that they're here to win. That's not to say that he wasn't. I mean, when he first came and everybody was like, oh, these, press conferences are a breath of fresh air. There was actually word coming out that behind the scenes, he was quite capable of having a hairdryer moment.
Oh,
or two.
yeah. I've heard that he had like balls of steel sort of thing at times. Yeah. Undoubtedly, you're not telling me Man United, the club who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer supports, have lost 5-0 to Liverpool with him as manager, obviously, and he's not gone in that dressing room and given the players a bollocking. You're not telling me that he's not done that. Of course he has. He's gone mental at him. Of course he has. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're going to the Bruno contract. An announcement on Bruno Fernandes's new Manchester United contract could follow after the international break. Now, a lot of people have got quite harsh opinions on Bruno Fernandes, and I love Bruno. I do think there's a doubt about some big games. He's performed in some big games, but in some big games. However, the solution is not to sell Bruno Fernandes. The solution, in my opinion, is to just get an outlet that's better than Jesse Lingard for Man United. An outlet that's maybe a Paulo Dybala. I don't know. It probably would be completely the wrong signing for United, but maybe someone that's a better outlet than Lingard or than Andreas Pereira of a few years ago. One of the worst players I've seen for this club, Pereira. It was awful.
To push him.
Yeah, and even to push him, and also just to play it if Bruno isn't feeling up to it. Yeah, you can have a night off, Bruno. Like, he can't do that right now because Jesse Lingard isn't good enough. As much as I like Jesse, he's just not good enough. And neither is, Pereira isn't our player anymore. We've got Hannibal coming through, and obviously he's still very young. And we've got no one else really. So, in my opinion, we need a backup to Bruno Fernandes. However, the Bruno Fernandes' contract announcement / breakthrough is huge. It's great news that we're tying him down to a long contract. Do you agree?
It is, but it's a bit of a funny one. I mean, we just spent the January transfer window being told no signings because we're waiting for the new manager to come in. And then we're given a long-term contract with somebody who was already in contract before we get the new manager in.
I think we'd been working on that for a while, though, because I remember...
surely you'd hold off from finalising.
True, yeah.
Let me just make sure that this manager wants you. Or let's make sure that you are happy with the new manager, that kind of thing. Because I'm pretty sure that Bruno would go, well, who are you signing? That kind of thing. He's not going to just put pen to paper.
No, yeah.
He doesn't come across as a mercenary to me anyway. I personally think with Bruno, yes, I think he does need backup. He needs someone who maybe can either give him a push to be not just like it did for Luke Shaw with Alex Telles. But I also think that there's a coaching aspect with Bruno with regards to his being all over the pitch, with his positional sense, with his mentality, with the way that he's having to go at the referee, the linesman, and all of that, with his discipline. I think last season it was arguably his best. He had the weight of the club on his shoulders, and he stood tall, and he was basically marshalling that team from midfield, and he did it amazing, absolutely amazing. This year, we've had other players come in who have probably taken the weight off his shoulders, and he seems to have changed. Is
I'm
took it.
not sure, and this is not a dig at either player. Just watching Portugal and United, I'm not sure Bruno and Ronaldo work together properly, just gel in the sense of it as click. When you just have two players that just click, and I'm not sure that they do.
It depends on style of play, because you saw the crosses that Bruno was putting into the box in the Portugal match the other day, one that Jota should have scored.
I thought Ronaldo played. He didn't get a goal or assist, but I thought he played very well
Yeah,
last Tuesday. I thought it was better. It's one of his better games of the season.
that's actually been a lot of his games this season. It's sort of been, yeah, people, you sign him, the best goal scorer, you sign him to score goals. Yes, you do. You sign him to do that.
Yeah.
But he's more than that. Although you're not expecting him to go up and down the wing, that's not him anymore. He does still get back. He will still work for the team. Bruno, it's that, it's almost like, because he's got average players, shall we say,
Yeah.
around him, he's almost everywhere. He can be coming deep into the midfield rather than staying in attack. He can be going out onto the wing to throw a cross in because Rashford isn't, doing the crossing like we,
Yeah, like we wish he could.
um,
Yeah.
and I think that's again coaching, because if we want the best out of Bruno, we want him in that advanced attacking area where he's receiving the ball high up the pitch, and he can either feed Ronaldo, feed the wingers, or even have a shot himself.
Yeah.
And that's where he did his most damage before. It was almost like he was playing on the shoulder of the striker last season. And everybody used to complain about it. What's he doing? He's not a striker. He's too far forward. Yeah, but he's very intricate with the ball. Yes, he can spray a ball, 40 yards, but he can also keep things contained. And yes, he does try the Hollywood pass, and again, that's coaching. But
For me, that's got to be his most frustrating aspect. I hate it when he moans at the ref, but it baffles
that's
me.
that's why we bought him, though. That he made a career doing that, because for every 10 that he tries, 3 will make it,
Yeah.
and those will lead to goals. Now, how many penalties were we getting
He
because
scored
of?
18 penalties last season.
So everybody was complaining that it was VAR, and maybe to a certain extent, some of them could be argued, but it wasn't. It's because we had that ball in and around the penalty box,
Yeah.
and we were making things happen because of him getting the ball to either the strikers or the wingers coming into the box, and
Yeah, I
it
agree.
caused defenses problems.
I agree. I think Bruno's frustrated with some of this team. And I'm going to tell a story, which it's another story which I heard on Saturday night from Pallister, and he said Roy Keane was lucky to walk away with his legs that night. This night that I'm about to tell. So they said they've gone out for a few beers, which they used to call it staff meetings to Fergie, and obviously Fergie. He'd always know. He'd always know. But they've gone out for a few beers and then another, and then another few, and another few, and another few. You know how it goes till it's about 15 pints in. And he said anytime, because it was almost every week they were doing this. Anytime there was any spats in the training room, in the dressing room, anytime there was any arguments, there was any kept sort of frustrations, it would always come out, because you know what people are like when they're drunk. Things come out. It would always come out. And I tweeted something. I deleted it, but I tweeted something saying, I think this United team needs to go on a piss. just go on a 3-day bender, and I won't mind that. Just fight it all out between each other. Peter Schmeichel, he said, came back with a black eye. Roy Keane was lucky to come away with his legs that night. He said, I would have had him if I could properly stand up if I weren't too drunk. But in all seriousness, I think Bruno needs to sort of try and he is a leader in my opinion. He needs to sort of try and take his frustrations out on the team in rather than on the ref.
If you remember, he was doing that.
Yeah.
That's why when he first came to the team, it was refreshing. We were like, give him the captaincy, you know.
Yeah.
But you look at the likes of Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo. When they're not getting service, they get frustrated and they start basically retreating deeper to go and get the ball.
Yeah.
And when they're not getting the ball or they're not getting the service, they start getting frustrated. Now, before, Bruno would have a go at the players. I think that it's gone on so long that he's just got fed up of telling the players. And now he's taking it out on the referee. Every time a decision goes that he doesn't think is right, he's taking it out on the whoever it is that's refereeing or being a linesman.
We need to have this mentality as a team. We're all in this together. We are all in this together. Whether they want the referees against them or not, I would actually like the mentality to be the referees are against us, as a siege mentality, as Sir Alex created a siege mentality, as it's us against the world. And now it seems to be us against us. We're fighting against each other, and it's like, and we're fighting against the ref, and it's like, no, it needs to be us against the whole world. There's a bigger picture here that it's not just us in this. But I realise that I'm waffling right now, so I will get back into the comments. There's a myth that Barca rebuilt in 4 months. They've been in decline since 2019. In the summer, it just accelerated. Let me just check that's no new news because I just had a notification. Ollie had the right attitude, to be fair, but he desperately needed the winning mentality. As long as he had the job he was content with, which is can understand. Eric Ten Hag has the backing of Ralph Rangnick, whilst Mauricio Pochettino continues to receive the support of Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't think things like that needs to be reported, to be honest. With Ten Hag, at least we have Bruno and Donny for the 10 position. Indeed, I think I just seen Thomas comment about that. It's under here. Pereira in his first few games, I thought it was going to be brilliant after the game against Middlesbrough in the cup. Was brilliant. I don't know what happened to him. He was awful, I think. Donny was Ten Hag's number 10 at Ajax. I don't believe we will sign a backup. He will want a Pogba replacement. He was versatile. Yeah, that's true. To be honest, I do think a manager will like Bruno. Either manager. Oh yeah. It's still. I get what you're saying. I do think they probably will, but we should have probably made sure. We don't know if they have made sure. In all fairness, they could have spoke to both about Bruno in the interviews. Yeah, I agree, Gavin. You can see that Bruno's barely been coached since his arrival. I think Bruno needs a striker that can link up play and play deep, because Bruno likes to run ahead of the striker. Look at Leeds home start of the season. Indeed, yeah. Obviously, we did have that.
On that, you want it, as we said, with McTominay going beyond Bruno, we want it where Bruno can go beyond the striker.
Yeah.
And I think because of the gap that's left between the defensive midfield when you've got both McTominay and Fred playing, and then if Bruno is forward, it leaves such a big gap in the middle of the field. It stunts the attack, but it also, if we then do attack, leaves a massive gaping hole, which then affects
the counter attack. I remember the goal against Everton at home, and I remember saying Fred or Wan-Bissaka should have just took him down, but it showed the gap, how big the gap was. It's my dad's birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Dad. Hope he's well.
Hey, Kenny.
We've stopped getting penalties ever since a certain German Scouts manager cried about it. Indeed, you're right. Also known Martial. Yeah, Bruno needs a bollocking. There's one player who I think needs a bollocking more than Bruno, and I will get into this player in a second. Manchester United are ready to. Are England playing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, so I'm not going to be able to watch that. We move. Manchester United are ready to open contract talks with Marcus Rashford and Luke Shaw after agreeing a new long-term deal with Bruno Fernandes. What I was just saying to my uncle about this is has Rashford just played us? Has he just played the club that he supports? Has he just played us all just for that?
Surprised. I wouldn't be
I hope
surprised.
not. I really hope not.
I don't think it was Marcus, though. I think it was his agent. I think it's his PR team.
But his agent is his brother.
I think that he's genuinely shown that he is struggling.
Oh yeah, he's also injured. It came out. I don't know if you've seen it. There was a report that came out from I think it was Sammy Mockbell, and Rashford has been working on his shoulder injury, which we talked about last week. He's been working on it over the week. I remember screenshotting it. I think I've deleted it now, but I remember screenshotting it and thinking, yes. And I was showing it to someone else and saying, I've been saying this for ages now. I don't understand why United have only just took now to realize it. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I've got a laugh before I cry.
but it is that, and we've been saying that for the last 2 years. So this sort of the injuries that he's got, we've been saying for a long time that he needs time out to be able to address those injuries, to be able to get back to the player that he was. And the longer that he persists and the club allow him to persist, the more damage he's going to do. And not just on a professional standpoint with regards to his position at the club, but on a personal standpoint with shortening his career.
I remember
So
Fabregas had a bad injury.
yeah,
And I remember seeing the video of Fabregas when he got the injury. I was in McDonald's at the time, and I remember seeing it. And I just thought, I bet he tries to rush himself back, and he didn't. And he has to take time out. I will always. Richie says it's going to be Matt, man. He's a king. I will always believe in Rashford. I've said
no,
this stream after stream after stream.
I look at it as who in his life is telling him no? Who in the club is telling him no?
Yeah,
He's obviously putting himself forward. Now, yes, okay, he still has to get picked. I think him being left out of the England squad was a good thing.
yeah, I
Why
agree. I agree.
Manchester United done the same? When he went out to have this operation, it should have happened whilst the Euros were on. Then he would have had a good recovery period before coming back to the club. He could have even had his foot, wasn't it? His ankle or his foot, and he's
Yeah,
got a back problem as well. He needed that time away from the club, away from the limelight, away from the pressure to just focus on rehabilitation. He is now his biggest critic. And I think him putting out there that he's upset about his playing time, it says more about him he's basically projecting. It's almost like he's not looking at it as a him problem. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
he's not looking at it from the standpoint of you're injured, you shouldn't even
He
be playing.
absolutely cares about Man United, and he absolutely does care. Like,
But
and
it's how much he cares about his career, because it's all very well to be resolute and I'm going to fight. Yeah, fine. But your body is telling you that you need to take a break. And you're saying, nah, I know better.
do you know what? I'm going to give an example here, and obviously, I've never been a professional footballer. When I was taking my GCSEs, I should have been in hospital at the time, and this isn't looking for sympathy or anything. I know it was my own fault. My business studies GCSE, I had to be taken out of the exam and taken to hospital. But I've spoke about the illness that I've had on before. However, I pushed myself. I can remember walking. I'm holding on to my wardrobe here. I remember walking, holding on to buildings like whilst I'm walking. I'm Rashford. Obviously, I'm nowhere near as physically fit as Rashford or anything like that. But I know what it's like to push your body through something when you're in so much pain. I don't know what pain Marcus is in or anything, even mental pain, mental health pain, and I know what that's like. However, when he's pushing himself, he needs to be told, and I was told consistently, you need to stop, you need to go hospital. And he needs to be told, maybe he doesn't need to go hospital, but like you said, he needs some time out. And Richie says, feel like he's put too much pressure on himself because this was his first season without injuries. Just needs to play football for fun the way he was, the way he used to, and he will be back 100%. I do agree with that. I do agree with that completely. I do believe that he's still got another injury though. However, I don't know if you've seen. You've heard of Akinfenwa, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Akinfenwa put him in the England squad to go to the World Cup on Saturday. There was a debate between him and, do you know who Rory Jennings is? Who works with True Geordie? Yeah, there was a debate on Sky. Well, it was Saturday Social, and Akinfenwa put him in the squad, and I was just baffled at that. However, Rooney today has done an interview with, I won't say the newspaper actually, to get the record and be Man United's highest goal scorer is fucking massive. What I hope is that Rashford fucking gets his head out of his ass and he goes and breaks that record. He is a Manchester lad, and I know, like I can't imagine what when that quote came out with what that last sentence would have, the reaction to that last sentence would have been. I can almost envisage.
There's two levels to it, because number one, is Rashford really a striker? You don't really associate
Do you know?
that.
Yeah, but do you know what? I was watching clips of his debut. I think I mentioned this to you, and he got in them natural positions almost like he's naturally a striker.
But he hasn't been that for such a long time, and when
No,
he
yeah,
has given that opportunity, he hasn't really taken it.
no,
And
yeah, yeah.
you know, even for England, he doesn't play that. Okay, there's other people that play that position, but I've always seen him as a winger who isn't really a winger. He's more of a player that will cut inside and take a shot or take a player on, or he can whip across, and we know he can do it. That's not to say the wingers can't score enough goals, but I think that there's a mental block. I think that there's a physical block. And he's at a point in his career where he's got to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
he wants the career, the likes of Rooney has got, where he's had the most appearances, for instance, the only way he's going to do that is by sorting himself out now, before it's too late.
Yeah.
Or else those years.
I don't want it to end like Danny Welbeck, because I loved Danny Welbeck too. I've made that very clear on Twitter, on here. I love Danny Welbeck still now. I celebrate when he scores, and I don't want it to end like that.
He does play for. He's played for Arsenal though, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm not sure if you've seen, a United legend has just come out slagging Ed Woodward off. This is over the past 5 minutes. This is Nicky Butt. Well, I class him as a United legend anyway, for sure. He's just said this is on why he left Manchester United via 4-4-2. I just didn't see a future for me. I did 9 years of coaching and could tell things were changing. The dynamics too. It became toxic. I didn't want to become too bitter, so I told Ed Woodward, shook his hand and left. That was that. Spoken like a true lad from Gorton, to be honest. That was that.
Before, I'm sure I've heard that before.
I think he said several things like this. However, he's doing. I'm not sure whether this is regurgitated, but it seems he's doing an interview with 4-4-2.
It's usually the way, though. They leave with not really too much fanfare. They praise sort of how it is, and then give it a year, maybe sometimes more, sometimes less, and suddenly the interviews start coming out, and you start hearing the truth. We had it with Van Gaal, Moyes, we've had it with Jose, we've had it with players, we've had it with all sorts throughout the years, and we're not the only club, but it does feel like we're the only club. There's a lot of publicity that we get that we're like, well, why don't other teams get this?
Oh, Man United is the like for media and things like that. Man United, and I'm sure people won't mind me saying this, it's the be all and end all. To be honest, it's the highest interaction. It's the highest it's the highest that. And it's quite the be all and end all for media outlets to report on. So obviously, I understand why they do. I just feel like the integrity should be a little bit more.
We're the only club that puts our legends on such a high pedestal that we consult with them about managerial things, about player things, about structure, and
Sir Alex basically ran this club, though. Like he was the manager and director of football.
it's been 10 years. And you
True.
know, when you look at football in general, and I'm not just talking about the UK, I'm talking about all over the world. How many times have you seen where a board of a football club have approached past players, and yeah, they might consult some respected players, but we seem to do it all the time.
Seems to be this sentimentality, and I'm a very sentimental person. However, sometimes we don't make the right decision. Well, most of the time we don't make the right decision. So hopefully we can bring a football structure in place, and I'm hopeful that that can happen. Bring a football structure in place which improves things even slightly, but hopefully a lot. Now we are coming to the end of this show, but I will read these comments. But we got hold on. No, yeah, that's what we've got to stop making excuses for him. To be honest, if someone is in bad form, they're just in bad form. Indeed, someone's having a bad season. He's having a bad season. It's hard. I wouldn't say excuses. I would say reasons. There's not excuses being made, in my opinion. It's reasons.
We could always go to Arsenal.
Yeah. He's been linked with Arsenal, hasn't he?
Yeah, well,
even with me when I nearly killed myself and my depression was at an all-time high. During mocks, my grades dropped well low. Got almost ones to threes because I wasn't in the right mental state. If you're not mentally right and you're not physically right, you're not going to perform to your highest standard, are you? It's just that is scientifically proven. I'm like 99% sure it is. And that's really low for me because in my actual GCSEs got all nines as bar science, which I got 7 in. Let's not talk about science. I absolutely hate it with a passion. The only way we can have Rashford playing is if our fullback and midfield is super creative because Rashford doesn't create much. Yeah. Santiago Munoz scored for Newcastle. Is this on goal or is this in real life? He also said we should go all out for Poch. He has his opinion, and Pallister has said similar thing. Whiteside said a similar thing. Blackmore thinks we should go for Clayton Blackmore thinks we should go for Eric Ten Hag.
I think familiarity. I think because he's got the Premier League experience, and he does have a style of play which is very attacking, very fluid. So you could sort of see why some ex-players would think to go down that route. And I don't knock them for thinking that. I think a lot of the fans, we want change. We want a different, a different structure, a different head.
But then let's say Ten Hag doesn't work. Where do we go from there?
Yeah. Well, look, why are we the only club that go, oh, well, we tried this. Why can't we try something again? We tried the Club Legend. What? So we're never going to try Club Legend ever again.
So you're suggesting Rooney?
Well, but maybe one day. But
yeah.
It's ridiculous to think to be so final when it comes to saying, oh, well, we tried to prove a manager. He won countless titles and he didn't win us much. He got us to Europa League and whatnot. We tried the old weathered who'd done every sort of job, and that didn't work. We've tried the older, wiser Premier League one that Sir Alex thought was the best. We tried the Club Legend. Well, why can't we do these things again? Why
but
do
who's
we...
actually out there? Because City are reportedly wanting Bronkhurst, and I don't understand why they want Bronkhurst, and it's baffled me since I heard about it on Sunday Supplement when it was back on, when it was on in 2019. Now, who's out there? Because to me, it only seems like Ten Hag, and then let's just say Ten Hag doesn't work. Who is out there after that? Where else do we go?
We're almost of the mindset that well, all of those things or those types of manager or those managers with backgrounds of this or styles of this. That didn't work. So we need to go looking for something that we haven't tried. And it's like, no, you just maybe try again, but with a different person.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know,
Let us just say it didn't work with Ten Hag, and he's not even here yet. Let's just say it didn't work with Pochettino and Ten Hag. I'm going to say something quite controversial. I would go with Southgate. I'm just saying that because I like Southgate.
I'd have to turn off. I just can't. I can't. I mean,
I don't think it's that bad, to be
I
honest.
keep saying, oh mate, he drags us through these games. God, we go 1-0 down against Switzerland, and we're playing a
I didn't
back
watch it, actually.
with 2 DMs, and it's like we're giving up an attacking player when we've got an abundance of attacking players.
But we should play how we're going to play in the World Cup, and we have done well in
But why
tournaments.
are we playing? No, we play defensive against San Marino. We play defensive.
Well, we won. What was it? 10-0, 9-0 we won.
Yeah, but everyone. What I'm saying is, we play this back five with 2 DMs, and we lose an attacking player when we've got an abundance of attacking talent. Now, okay, fair enough. The match on Friday, we were missing some of our attacking talent, like Rashford, like Emil Smith Rowe, like
We had
Saka.
at least 7 players injured.
So fair enough. But we are using a manager that is so pragmatic. I mean, yes, fair enough. We scraped through to the final of the Euros. Why? No, I'll have.
I don't think we're scraped through, but
I would literally, I'd be done if.
I think it'd help the football structure. But obviously, we can disagree on things. It's obviously
Oh yeah,
football. It's
healthy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't fall out because you disagree. I know.
No. Otherwise, we'd be falling out every minute.
Yeah, I don't agree with half the stuff you say. Blooming hell.
But anyway, right, we'll end this show there. I do want to say thank you, and I'll also let people know it has helped me. Obviously, it's been quite a stressful few days. With waking up, receiving messages of hate and things like that. And so yeah, it's been quite a stressful few days. You won't be able to catch me on Twitter, despite Nightbot saying you will. You just be able to catch me here for the time being. I will be live. Let me make sure when it is. I will be live tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time, and tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. UK time. I know there's only currently 2 people in here, but Tuesday 5:30 p.m. UK time, Tuesday 7 p.m. UK time. If you lot can, hold on. If you lot can before, like when I go live, can you lot tweet it out and stuff like that? Because obviously I'm not here. I'm not there. I don't want to be. I don't want to be there right now. I also want to try and grow this via YouTube naturally rather than growing it via Twitter. So then I've got several streams of like viewers and things like that. So thank you guys for tuning in and getting in the chat. Thank you, Gavin, for coming on. Possibly have Kyle back on next week. It depends how things are, just how things are in general. And